Hey, what's up, dude? Pull up a seat. Let's talk. So, I've been kind of into Stranger of Paradise ever since it dropped on PC. I'm not gonna say too much. Some people are probably just getting into it. It's a pretty fresh game, especially for the PC players that got it a little bit later than the console players. But it's definitely a thrill ride in terms of gameplay. I've had a lot of fun and a lot of struggles over the 16 or so hours I've streamed it over 2 days. So, let's hand out a few tips, see what we can do to help the newbies out. Hopefully this gets somebody into it and helps them get their feet on the ground. So here are 10 quick tips for handling Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. In Stranger of Paradise, how you defend yourself is very important to combat flow. Whether it's parrying or soul shield parrying, managing your break gauge is the best way to stay in on tougher enemies like bosses and keep your damage output up, which is often the only thing between a dead Jack and a dead boss. Instant abilities are a massive part of Stranger of Paradise's core gameplay. Being able to steal your enemy's ability and turn it back on them gives you a chance to deal massive break damage or stack quickly towards bonus elemental damage. If you do manage to soul shield one of those purple abilities, keep an eye out for how many charges you get and use them to take the advantage in fight. There are some enemies that won't respawn in levels. They're usually off to the side in some kind of extra area or behind a door up an elevator, and these enemies are just there to provide a challenge. They might have a log or just some extra loot with the high difficulty they come with. They're a good way to boost yourself, but it's okay to skip them early on. If you're a big Final Fantasy buff or you've done your homework beforehand, you might notice you're missing some of the basic jobs and ways to the advanced jobs you might want or be interested in. That's okay, it's completely normal. You can hold on to your anima shards, and around by the 4th story mission or so, you should have all of the basic jobs and an idea of what kind of playstyles you like. While dodging does seem to have some iframes, some invincibility time in it, the difference between dodging and then dodging again, or dodging into a roll, is massive in terms of both where you end up and how much control you have throughout your evasion process. Sometimes delaying when you press the dodge button rather than mashing it will help you out way more in the long run. This one's a quick menuing tip because it took me a minute or so to find this, but while you're in the menu, especially for dismantling at the smithy, you can hit X and select all from the menu, and then use Y just to unselect the things you want to keep. If you sort it to highest level equipment and do this from the top, you have a good chance of keeping the stuff you really want in the end. On your average dungeon run, Stranger of Paradise is very much a snowball game. If you walk into a fight with around 6 MP and you blow it all pretty smartly, get your soul bursts in, odds are you're going to walk out with 2 to 3 or more MP anyway. Don't hesitate, feel free to unload the entire cannon, and odds are you'll get it back before you really need it. For those of you who may be on the fence about it, co-op is actually a fantastic option in Final Fantasy Origin. The experience doesn't seem to lose much by having another person or two, especially a friend along. You get 3 free self-revives that you can use if only one of you is down, and you can use potions to pick yourself or your buddy up. Plus, you get more anima shards to help level jobs. Don't forget your AI allies. They're actually pretty handy, and toggling on their aggressiveness and skills by activating them with the D-pad control can actually rack up some really solid damage and aggro on bosses that can be the difference between a win and a walk from the Cube of Shame. Last quick tip to keep it brief, make sure you use your environment while you're fighting. Sometimes, the best answer to your problem is reminding the local menace that they can't swim. There it is. 10 relatively quick tips for getting off the ground in Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. Hopefully this helps you guys out. If you have anything else you think would help out new players to the game, definitely drop it in the comments below. Let me know. Any questions? Also great there. Make sure you check out my Patreon, where people who are subbed to me at any tier do get a preview of what's coming out when it's an edited video, as well as I accept requests on there and whatnot. You can find me on Twitter, hanging out, making collabs, all that good stuff. And the Discord down below is where people go to play with me and get quick notifications when I stream. Other than that, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys next video.